Subscribe or you'll be visited by the toll troll. He's not tree-maxxing. Black walnut trees easily sell for 1K after 30 years. Some big ones sell for thousands each. Also, you get edible nuts while you wait for your investment to literally grow. It doesn't have to be black walnut, all you need is land and an appropriately valuable tree species. If you already own at least an acre of vacant land, you're leaving money on the table if you're not tree-maxxing. Bye. We need to buy land and farm this shite. All you need is land and an appropriately valuable tree species. Go on. If the climate/soil is even remotely suitable, just plant the seeds, space them out, keep an eye on them until they get established, and then it's smooth sailing until they're ready to be chopped down. How do I determine the ideal species for profit in my climate? Who do I sell to? Nurseries or landscaping companies? What's the maintenance like? You're going to have to do your own research on that. In the case of black walnut, the wood is often used for veneers, furniture, gun stocks, etc., so you'd be selling to woodworkers or companies that manufacture veneers. I'd probably reach out to any Amish communities first to see if they have anyone interested, and then ask lumber yards for contacts. Maintenance depends on the species. But black walnuts need full sun, so they have to be spaced out so they don't shade each other out. The first few years will require some babysitting, watering during long dry periods, looking out for disease, etc. After that, there isn't much you need to do except some occasional pruning. $1,000, 30 years, so $50 a year per tree? And you only get the payoff after 30 years? I'd rather just rent or buy someone else's land, chop off the wood myself, then sell it as firewood. I want to selectively breed and graft, maybe even genetically modify, Osage orange trees for bowmaking. As it stands, most Osage trees aren't even worth cutting down. You need a tree that's free of knots, limbs, twists, etc. straight and long with no imperfections. Of the ones that are good enough to cut down, most of them are junk with too much early wood. Of the ones that are good enough to use, only a few, like 10% or less, will be high quality. Then you need to season and seal the ends of the staves, then let them dry for a few years. All in all, out of hundreds of acres of forest, you might get 1 or 2 really good staves. But anyways, this all seems like a lot of work and time for next to no money. Like 25 years for a harvest. F that. You'd probably have make more money starting an apple orchard, then turning those apples into cider. Or maybe selling Christmas trees, or something really exotic. Can I just buy land, plant seeds, and when the trees get established sell the whole nursery after let's say 5 years with a potentially good profit? It's worse than that, and screw OP for making me think. You can plant 218 per acre according some crappy napkin math. So the average effective property tax per tree is currently $10.46 per tree. In bulk it's about $1.63 per pound for fertilizer. Let's say each tree on average only requires 3 pounds total ever, and that happens in year 2 at $4.90. Each inch of rainfall is about 0.623 gallons per square foot, and the Midwest gets about 32 to 37 inches per year. Optimistically that's 23 gallons per square foot per year, and let's assume you buy some cheap small sapling, $75, but that it immediately somehow has a massive root network, so you're getting about 70 gallons of watering free per year. With a small tree maybe you only need a tiny bit of watering in year 1, but you'll need maybe even a year to establish them since we're buying tiny $75 saplings. That's about $2 in water costs. So, year 0, minus $75. Year 1, minus $12.46. Year 3, minus $15.36. Years 4 through 29, minus $10.46. Year 30, $1,000. Assuming trees are 1K with no loss and a time cost of $0, with a 3% discount rate, each tree has a $129.64 net present value in 2025. That's $28,262 per acre. But here's the heckin' catch: thousand cankers disease. USDA estimates put black walnut tree death as bad as 60% in affected areas. They also mature very slowly, 100 plus years, so 30 years isn't enough for the really pricey top quality stuff. Let's say you're giving the lumberyards BJs though, and so they're still willing to buy at 90% of the $1,000. You're still down to 15.3K per acre. Yes, there is a positive expected value to growing trees. Yes, with lots of land this scales and you could be rich. But even doing all labor yourself, you still need to eat for 30 years, which makes startup costs rough. So back to the profit/years linear assumption, it's actually something like a net positive $2.40 per tree before labor costs. Good luck.